Learning the bass is far easier than learning the cello was. And this guitar that hadn't been there before popped up. Gold-plated strings. She's so sexy, my god. Hey, and welcome to Singer Babe Learns Ableton Live.
I'll be the hand, I'll be the ink, I'll be the pen.
I'm learning the bass, a 5-string bass. 5-string bass has one extra string. The open string is a B. My songs go into that range. First, I got a new bass, ended up being way too large for me, and I ended up returning it. When I returned the other bass, I was interfacing with ChatGPT about what my ideal bass would be. It would of course be smaller. I said I wanted a pearl-colored Ibanez 5-string bass with gold hardware. I go back to the site that I was already on, and this guitar that hadn't been there before popped up, and it was on consignment. But check this baby out. Could it have been more accurate to my request? I don't think so. It's really motivating to practice something that feels like it fits right. The strings that I had when I first got her were very worn. I think they were even somewhat rusty. So I ordered some Optima strings, and Ow! You wanna sit on my lap? You jealous of my bass right now? You wanna be here, baby? Come here. There's room for you both. Yeah. I ended up finding this brand called Optima that actually has gold-plated strings, and they're supposed to last a little longer. The sound is incredible. It sounds really soft. When I switched the strings, I looked up a handy YouTube video, and I just cleaned everything with Windex and put them on, and I had to learn how to raise this part, I forget what it's called, that holds the string, because the strings being thicker were closer to the fretboard and they were buzzing. It took me a little bit of time to correct it, but it was really empowering to learn that. A little holes in there. And raise them all until they were at a height to keep the strings off the fretboard. And that worked. I had to stretch the strings out and all that.
Which holds the stars. Peace and sea from my center.
And then I invested in this Katana Go. What you do is you plug your headphones into it, plug it into the bass, and it's chargeable. You can hear yourself that way, so I don't need to have a power outlet. Luckily, this Katana Go doohickey that I have here actually can Bluetooth to my phone, so I can play any song on my phone, hear it from that, and also hear myself play bass. So that is so freaking cool. I'm really grateful for that.
Gifted.
I'm doing a lot of traveling this summer. Thankfully, I worked out a system to bring my bass on the plane. I just stuff it in the closet at the front of the plane. I had this idea to create practice recordings. Essentially, what I'm going to do is break my song up into parts, and I will duplicate parts over and over again for, say, 10 or 20 minutes. This is supposed to help me reduce the time of stopping the track, rewinding it, just repeating parts over and over again so that I can really build that myelin up and learn the song a lot quicker. So far, learning the bass is far easier than learning the cello was. And I've also invested in this masterclass for learning the bass, and it goes pretty in depth. I'm gonna be brushing up on and improving my music theory as I do this. With a bass, it's different than a cello or a guitar. The strings being lower resonance, they can buzz a lot more than other instruments. It's important to place your thumb strategically on the bass to mute, resting it so it doesn't vibrate. I do need to stretch my fingers out though. I'm small and I have small hands, but doing the C shape with the middle finger and the thumb is still the same as with the cello. Just it's different than holding it like this and holding it down here. Learning the cello is more difficult than learning a fretted instrument because you have to be very precise with where you put your fingers. It's a lot easier to learn the bass. I taught myself cello and I learned some not so great habits. I gave myself 9 months to practice the cello, and without fail, I practiced every day for 9 months, 5 to 8 hours a day. I believe there was 2 days in there where I only got 3 hours in. So for 9 whole months I did that, and I was ready with my songs written and memorized to perform them, and it went really well. Constant gigs after the very first one. It was so good. I think that committing and following through really builds up a magnetic momentum. I found this really cool website online where you can input any song. It'll give you the sheet music to what you put in. Luckily, because I produce my own music, I have all the stems for the bass parts for all of my songs, and I can input that into the website. It'll create sheet music for me, like this. Now I'm reading it in the bass clef, so I have to memorize the placement of all the notes again, which is fine. So I wrote them all out. I have a goal to have this song called You Tried to Burn the Sun memorized by the 10th of April. You're watching this after the 10th of April. Let's see if I can do it. Also, I'll put a Spotify link below. Thanks for watching. See you soon.